collective action. So as we begin, I encourage you all to engage fully, ask questions, share insights, and reflect here. Let us make the most of this rich intellectual encounter. Welcome and enjoy the session. All right. Having done the opening welcome, I wouldn't want to take so much of our time, so I would just be uh, reading our guest citation tonight, so that I'll be presenting her to everyone so that she can come up to start her session quickly. So, like I said, hope we're still sharing the flyer, inviting people to join us. All right, quickly, let's take the citation of our guest tonight. Professor Francisca Oladipo is a distinguished professor of computer science and currently serves as the Vice-Chancellor from Adewumi University, Kwara State, Nigeria. She is the Secretary General of the Consortium of Universities in Kwara State, KU8+, and Vice President, as well as Secretary to the Board of BODAN, an international network of African scientists and researchers committed to developing Afrocentric data systems that upholds data ownership in residents across Africa, Europe, and Asia. She previously held several trailblazing positions, including serving as the pioneer director of quality assurance, the first female member of the governing council, and the first female head of Department of Computer Science at Federal University, Lokoja, Nigeria. Additionally, she worked as a consultant at the Tilburg School of Humanities and Digital Sciences, Tilburg University, Netherlands, and served as Director of Research, Innovations, and International Relations at Kampala International University, KIU, Uganda. Her academic journey also includes her role as a lecturer and researcher at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Nigeria, as the first female professor of computer science from Federal University, Lokoja, and the first professor from the institution appointed as a vice-chancellor. Professor Oladipo has made notable contributions to both academia and public service. She served as the chief technical advisor Kogi State for the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAM) from 2017 to 2022, and currently serves as a facilitator at the Africa Center of Excellence in Technology Enhanced Learning, National Open University of Nigeria from 2022 till present. Between 2021 and 2022, she was a visiting professor at the Pan-African University Institute of Basic Sciences, Technology and Innovation at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Kenya. From 2020 to 2023, Professor Oladipo served as the International Project Synergy and Support Lead for the NUFIC Regional and Ethiopia projects for KIU and Dutch partners. The projects under the Dutch Orange Knowledge Program facilitated e-learning systems across the Horn of Africa to strengthen security, rule of law, and food and nutrition in countries like Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Northern Ethiopia. She currently serves as a PhD advisor at the Network for Globalization, Accessibility, Innovation, and Care, Tilburg University, Netherlands, and fosters partnerships through the Africa University Network for Fair Open Science. Her global influence includes her role as a member of the Technology Advisory Board and Women in Technology Fellow at Watson University, India, and an honorary advisory board member at the All-Women School of Innovation and Management in collaboration with the Institute of Technology and Sciences College for Women, Hyderabad. In March 2024, she received the prestigious Emerging Scholar Award at Universitat Politécnica de Valencia, Spain, the only African recipient. As the executive coordinator of BODAN Africa, Professor Oladipo led Africa's contribution to the global fight against COVID-19 through the only successful deployment of machine actionable fair data points across Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and the Netherlands. Under her leadership, Vodafone expanded into Tanzania, Somalia, Liberia, Burkina Faso, Rwanda, China, Indonesia, and Kazakhstan. The initiative, recognized in the 2021 UNESCO Engineering Report, was awarded Most Inspiring Initiative at Leiden Science Week 2022, and its MVP was successfully installed in 88 health facilities across 8 African countries. She is one of the scientific organizers of the 2024 Road to Fair and Equitable Science Workshop at the Lawrence Center, University of Leiden, Netherlands. Professor Oladipo is a two-time Icon USA grant recipient and a three-time recipient of the ACM Fact in AI Fellowship. She is an inaugural fellow of the Pan-African Scientific Research Council, a Grace Hopper Faculty Scholar, and a partner in the Africa Universities Network on Fair Open Science. She has also been awarded fellowships by the Heidelberg Laureate Foundation, U.S. Department of State Exchange Program, Tech Women, Internet Engineering Task Force, Women in Machine Learning, Women in High Performance Computing, Black in AI, and others. Her numerous grants and collaborative projects include the Google Explore CSR grant, Philips Foundation grant, Google Rapid COVID-19 grant, Carnegie African Diaspora Fellowship, Dutch Development Bank grant, and Deep Learning in the Back's Posting grant, among others. Without further ado, would you please join me to make welcome tonight our guest, who is a prolific researcher, a professor. I've read extensively many of her achievements. She has published extensively in local and international journals, contributed to development of innovative academic curricula, and served as on editorial boards. Her work continues to bridge the gap between research and practice, particularly in data science, theoretical computing, and digital transformation in emerging economies. Please let's make welcome tonight Professor Oladipo. Thank you so much, Ma. You're welcome, Ma. Please let's clap. Let's use the clapping emoji as we welcome her in our reactions. Let's clap. Let's use our reactions to welcome her to tonight's edition.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ma.
Thank you, Damilola. Thank you, Dr. Godwin Adeboye, and the wonderful team at Theo-Sight Center for Research. We're going to be talking about AI this evening, but technology sometimes can disappoint. So I've sent my slides to Dr. Godwin just in case. I have another device here, but I can't share screen on that device. Before I begin, I would like to especially recognize the presence of my boss, mentor, the chairperson of the Consortium of Universities in Kwara, Professor Abdulwahab Egbewole, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and Vice-Chancellor, University of Ilorin. He is on this call. I also want to recognize the presence of my twin brother, the Vice-Chancellor of MIVA Open University, Professor Tayo Arulogun, is also on this call. And my own president, Dr. Ayodele Oluwakemi, the national president of the Nigerian Women in Information Technology. And everyone else on this call, you're all very important, but I needed to recognize this because I invited them, and in spite of the very busy schedule, they came. I personally invited them. I also want to thank every one of you for joining us. I would like to share my screen with the kind permission of the host. Yes, please, can you all confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, Ma, we can.
Thank you. And then
yes, you can see the screen.
Oh, okay, thank you. There's been a heavy storm here, so I hope nature will not disrupt us. But I also want to advance my slide. Is the slide advancing? Awesome. So the title is Artificial Intelligence, or Intelligence of the Artificial. Where does the true power of intelligence lie? The title is quite profound, and I want to give credit to Dr. Adeboye and his team at Theo-Sight for coming up with this title. kind of has a way of demystifying the concept of artificial intelligence. Because generally, when we talk about artificial intelligence, AI, everybody thinks, oh, like that's abstract content, that's scientific thing, that's thing that is done only by very, very smart people. I mean, so whose intelligence is it? Is it that of a machine, that's piece of software housed in plastic and metal casing, or the intelligence of that creature by the Almighty with 2 hands and 2 legs and 2 eyes and 1 mouth and 2 ears, and that can walk, that can think, that can talk, that has been made to exhibit every level of intelligence? Where does the true power of intelligence lie? That will be the question that we'll be exploring in this Scholars Spotlight for the month of April. So by way of outline, there's going to be an introduction and background to set the tone for the presentation, some ice breaking, which I think I already started doing. And then we're going to open the black box. We're going to demystify artificial intelligence. Then we're going to look at how does human fit in. It is a loop, and with human at the center of the loop. So which means no matter how intelligent a system is, no matter how smart an AI system is, there is that human in the loop. And because human is involved, humans are generally created with values and biases. These values and biases are also encoded into the artificial intelligence system. And so we also look at the unique values of human intelligence. And because of these factors, what are the responsibilities that we have as humans in the loop of artificial intelligence? Because we're going to establish today that the intelligence actually lies with the human and not the machine. And so if human that has been created in the image and likeness of the Almighty, that has values and biases. 2 of us are watching football. I support Arsenal. Dr. Godwin supports Chelsea. And I'm saying, God, please let Arsenal win. And Dr. Godwin said, God, oh, I'm your son. If you love me so much, let Chelsea win. Those biases and values are in us. And how do we transfer this into an AI system, or how do we ensure that we don't transfer this into an AI system? And when they're transferred, how do we mitigate? Those are some of the things we are going to be looking at today. So they already introduced me, and I'm a professor of computer science, like everyone said. I am an administrator, and opportunities like these are ways of me keeping in touch or keeping abreast of the profession, like being in the midst of colleagues. When I'm in the office, good morning, Madam VC, excuse me, all of that. But when I have opportunities like this, I'm talking to my colleagues with frequency. We're together. There is no professor here. There, forget my display name. This is Francisca talking to Godwin, to Theo, we're going to learn from you. You're going to learn from me. This is an opportunity that I kind of look out for, and I really thank, like I said, thank the team at Theo-Sight for having me. So like I said, we're going to demystify AI beyond the hype, beyond the fear, beyond the technology, beyond the black box that everybody talks about. Then we examine the persistent role of human in AI systems. We're going to look at a particular way of AI obeying human through the use of prompt engineering. When I look at people say AI will take away jobs, it's actually creating new opportunities, new jobs. Now we have people that are called prompt engineers. So I'm going to be introducing that concept as well. And maybe after today, some people may actually want to take up a career in prompt engineering. And then we look at the enduring moral and the intellectual responsibilities that we humans bear in the age of increasingly capable machines. We're building those monsters. We're building driverless cars. We're building systems that seemingly think. what will be our responsibility so that we don't one day build something? Those are the things we'll be looking at today. So let us see a peep into this black box. What is artificial intelligence? It simply refers to the development of computer systems that are capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. What are some of these tasks? Learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, language understanding, and several other problems. Any problem that requires human capability. And then the solution, this is now encoded into a computer, a software, to function in the place of human. That is what AI is in the simplest term. So I want to give a layman's example. Let us look at pattern recognition, which is an approach to one of the approaches to artificial intelligence. Okay, so Ojo gives Ojo 5 naira every day, and then each time Ojo goes to Mama Tony's shop, Eka Sama, good afternoon, Mama Tony. I want to buy sweet, 5 naira. Yeah, take, greet your mother. Tomorrow, Ojo goes again. I want to buy sweet, 3 naira, biscuit, 2 naira. And then that is Ojo's lifestyle. And then one day Ojo suddenly shows up with 20 naira and says, Eka Sama, mo fẹ́ ra jadidi and akara and biscuit and sweets. And then Mama Latte now look at it. Wait, so Ojo has never brought 20 naira here. Okay, draw the mimombo. And now goes inside. Mama Ojo, now calls Mama Ojo. Did you give Ojo 20 naira to come and buy a jadidi and akara and no, I didn't give him more. Please, don't sell to him. I don't know where he got money. So the same way, from MTN, you have always borrowed 500 naira credits. You've always bought recharge card, 1,000 naira. And then one day from your bank account, they just say you want to buy a credit of 50,000 naira. What will an AI system do? It will stop that transaction and send you a message. Francisca, I received a request to purchase MTN airtime of 50,000 naira. Is that you? That message could be in form of now sending me for me to enter a code or for me to click on a link. That is pattern recognition, because my pattern has always been between 500 naira and 1,000 naira, and all of a sudden it sees 50,000. What will AI system do? So the same way Yalate detected an unusual pattern, an unusual spending pattern in the little boy Ojo, it is the same way a fraud detection artificial intelligence system will spot an unusual spending pattern on your credit card and then call your attention to it. And then you realize, oh, hackers are trying to use my credit card. That is the simplest thing. So what a human usually would do is encoded into an AI system. As a driver, driving between Omaro and maybe Ajashaiko, if you're so used to that road, you already understand the contour of that road, you know where they have deep potholes, you know where to slow down. And then when we encode driverless cars, it drives once and jumps into a pothole. It learns that there is an irregularity on that road. So the next time it applies that same route again, it learns to slow down. That is learning. Late Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther wrote the Yoruba Bible or something like that, translated the English Bible to Yoruba Bible. Now AI is translating. I have Muslim friends. When I send some prayers to them, they'll be like, where did you learn this? That is artificial intelligence. I simply type the prayer I want. It converts it to Arabic and then gives me, yes. And I send it to her, be like, Visi, you're speaking Arabic. Visi, do you have Muslim family? Visi, have you been to the mosque before? So we no longer need the likes of Samuel Ajayi Crowther. We now have artificial intelligence. So in layman's terms, that is what AI is. That thing that a human can do, that very special activity that only a human can perform has now been encoded into a machine. And then a machine, like a software, now performs that. So AI is simply about statistical pattern recognition, but at an unprecedented scale. They are trained on vast collections of human-created content. I remember there was a time I asked ChatGPT, who is the national president of the Nigeria Computer Society, and he says he doesn't know. But I asked, who is the president of British Computer Society? And then he gave me a very long citation of the BCS president. That is the bias. It doesn't recognize the president of Nigerian Computer Society, but recognizes that of British Computer Society. And in AI systems, it's also about learning, mathematical optimization of parameters, adding A to B, plotting series of graphs, working on different levels of algebra, doing a lot of mathematical and everything. And that is why in computer science, you spend your first 2 years learning statistics, learning mathematics, learning language theory, learning real analysis, linear algebra, calculus, complex analysis, and several other things. And then when we use generative AI, you see it's running, and then to the layman, the AI is thinking. It is not thinking. They're actually predicting likely responses based on publicly available information on the net that they have been trained on. And then they generate a set of likely responses as the answers. And they will put a caveat at the end. AI can make mistakes. Please make sure that you cross-check the answer. And that would take us to, we'll talk about that more in the area of prompt engineering. So let us look at the mirror analogy in looking at artificial intelligence. If you have a mirror around, you just place a mirror before you. What do you see? You see your face, you see the part of your body that will be covered around the mirror's, is the circumference now, or the dimension of the mirror, and every other thing behind you. You do not see anything behind the mirror. So no matter how much a mirror is polished or perfectly crafted, it cannot show anything that is not present in the world it reflects. It cannot show anything outside of its range. The same applies to artificial intelligence systems. They cannot generate knowledge. They cannot derive they cannot generate any knowledge that are not derived from their training. And they are trained using human-created content. So whose intelligence? Is it that of the artificial, that of the machine, or that of the human? Is it artificial intelligence or intelligence of the artificial? They are not going to do anything new other than what has been programmed into them. However, like human, they can learn from previous experiences. And that is why in machine learning, we have the training data and the testing data. The data set will be divided into two. A portion will be used to train the artificial intelligence system. And then the remaining portion of the data set will be used to test to be sure how it has actually trained and assimilated the knowledge from the human-created content. So they're fundamentally tools of human expression. I apologize for that typo, they are correct. And then they're actually tools for human expression. So those things we want to do as human, we find a machine to do it, then we can move on to something else. Still demystifying AI in the layman terms. So this brings us to the concept of prompt engineering. Because AI relies on human-generated content, the concept of prompt engineering reveals the persistent centrality of human intelligence in AI system. Apologies to our non-Yoruba speaking, but there is a saying that says, Belela ko olabo. Good morning, Dr. Godwin, will possibly generate a better response than, hey, good morning. Oh, hey, you dog, good morning. Káàárọ̀, Dr. Godwin, ṣé dáadáa la jí ṣàlàáfíà lẹ́wà? Good morning, Prof. VC, àlàáfíà ní ilé ńkọ́ o. If I just say, oh, Dr. Godwin, good morning, he's most likely going to respond, oh, Prof, good morning, and then we go our separate ways. So it is the same way in interacting with AI systems. There is a concept of prompt engineering. It is a craft. You have to learn it the way you learn how to dance, how to throw balls, you see a lot of trend on social media. You have to learn the different, how to move, how to do your hands, how to do your leg, how to shake your head, and all of that. The same way you learn to throw ball, to play football, to bake cake, to sew clothes, to make hair, to iron, to learn basic skills is the same way prompt engineering is learned. So it is a craft, and it is the craft of formulating inputs to an AI system to elicit desired output, processing output. Computing is modeled after life. And that's why I gave the example of simple greeting. Depends on the way I greet you with smile, asking about your family, asking about your job, will depend on the way you respond to me. If I just greet you rudely because I'm just required to greet you, you're also going to, maybe you can't be rude to me because I'm a vice-chancellor, but you're not going to really say, oh, ma, how are you, man? No, it's not going to. So it is the same way. So prompt engineering is the art and science of giving instructions to AI models that produce valuable, accurate, and appropriate responses. So if the prompt is not right, if it is not properly crafted, it's going to generate a response, but the response may not be valuable, may not be accurate, may not be appropriate, and may not be useful. And that's why you see people, they keep on having difficulties using generative AIs over and over and over again, because by the time they evaluate the responses, they're not valuable, they're not accurate, they're not appropriate, and not useful to them because of the lack of the crafting of the prompts. And it is one of the clearest demonstrations that AI systems remain fundamentally dependent on intelligent questions. It's not going to return valuable, accurate, and appropriate responses. QAD. So the prompt engineer must possess deep understanding of both the domain being explored and the quirks of the AI system being used. Must understand that domain, because you need to evaluate the answers. You need to craft the prompts. Prompts are also known as questions. The questions to the AI system, you need to craft the useful response. And then you must also understand the domain or climate change, whatever it is. And then the prompt engineer must also anticipate how different phrasings might trigger different patterns in the model. That is why prompt engineering is a craft, it's an art, it's something that you have to learn. Just the way you learn, if you move this way, when the music, you must understand the sound of the music. You see people are doing choreography, or some of these people, they move in sync. That is like they already learned the art. They know once the instrument sounds this way, they're to move this way. When it sounds that way, they're to move that way. When the instrument sounds this way, they're to stop singing or stop dancing, and so on. And then the prompt engineer must also know when to be specific and when to leave room for the model's pattern matching capabilities. And finally, must understand how to break. So the human is still in the loop. So which means properly structuring of prompts would definitely improve the performance of the AI system on reasoning tasks. So I give two examples. I took this to Cloud AI. What is climate change? Or say, write about climate change. It's going to give definitions and everything, and it's going to be telling me things that I probably already know, going to convey any new information, or putting a prompt like analyze the economic implications of transitioning to renewable energy sources in developing nations, considering both short-term implementation costs and long-term implementation benefits. I get more information. I get things that are specific. It's not going to be rambling. I don't have to start looking and reading in between the lines to be extracting the information I need. It gives me straight the information I need. Now, if I don't have the domain knowledge of climate change, how do I actually confirm that what Cloud AI gave me is correct? So in addition to knowing how to craft the prompts, it is important to also understand the domain. So it takes us to anticipating how different phrasing might trigger different patterns in the model. So we have two things talking about climate change. Phrasing, number one, just says write about climate change. This is just me inexperienced, but an experienced prompt engineer says analyze the economic implications of transitioning to renewable energy sources in developing nations. So you see the crafting. It tells what it wants. Don't define, don't do any other thing. Just go straight to this and give me this. And then we receive more valuable, useful, expressed answer that gives what the prompt engineer wanted. So still speaking about human in the loop, we see the difference in the quality of these two responses, the difference in the quality of these two responses. It's not because the AI became smarter in the second one, but from the human intelligence that better directs the AI's capabilities. So the human intelligence is always in the loop. The knowledge about how to structure the questions or the prompts, what factors are relevant to consider, what timeframes matter, what perspective might be valuable, they all come from human expertise. And that's why you compare, you can take the questions and put in any generative AI of your choice and compare the responses. So professionally, many organizations will hire prompt engineers who are specialists. They understand both the domain knowledge, they understand the technical limitations of AI systems, and then they can develop prompts that can break complex tasks into manageable steps. So you can say, instead of just putting a document and say, ChatGPT, please analyze this document and then give me a summary. An experienced prompt engineer will be like, hello, chat, I have uploaded this document titled The Development of Theo-Sight Institute by Dr. Godwin Adewumi over the last 5 years. Kindly generate the following: the goals of Theo-Sight, the achievement year by year, the plan in the next 5 years. So it is an art. It is not just enough to know the question to ask, but the way the questions are crafted, the way they're broken down into manageable steps, given specific instructions, extracting relevant context and constraints, specifying the format and tone of the desired output. So I could tell chat, please, in a formal manner, or in more technical terms, or speaking to an audience of laymen, can you describe climate change and how it affects a developing country like Nigeria, Ghana in West Africa, Lesotho, Namibia in Southern Africa, Algeria and Morocco in Northern Africa? That will produce better content, better answers, better responses than just me. I hope, oh, okay, sorry, message came inside. I hope I'm doing good for time, Dr. Godwin.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Prof. Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So, artificial intelligence, intelligence of the artificial beyond artificial intelligence. we have coined a new term. Instead of intelligence of the artificial, we call it intelligence augmentation, because it is not a one-person thing. It is not a one human thing, and it is not a one machine thing. It is about co-creation. So it does not matter whether it is in medicine or law or engineering or programming or design or anywhere. Intelligence augmentation is the most effective AI application, where the human expertise guides the AI system, can evaluate the outputs, and integrate this output into larger workflows and knowledge structures. So it is not about human intelligence or machine intelligence or intelligence of the artificial and artificial intelligence. It is the augmentation of these two types of intelligence, human and machine working together in synergy, helping to improve the works of one another. So what are the value encoding in artificial intelligence system? Bear in mind that human is always in the loop. So the human values and the biases of human, they are embedded in the AI systems. They are trained on data sets selected by humans, generated and selected by humans. They're designed according to objectives that are determined by humans. Every AI system development follows certain goals and objectives, and these goals and objectives are by humans. So every kind of ethical and unethical part of the human can be embedded in the AI system, and they are deployed in context chosen by human, whether for training, whether for diagnosis, whether for pattern recognition, for whatever type of context. So at each step in the development of, AI systems, the human values and biases are explicitly or implicitly coded. Sometimes may not be really out of the way, may not be specifically, go out to code the bias, but because of the human nature in the development, it happens. And so, because they're trained on human-created content, all the assumptions, all the worldviews, they're there. If an AI system, for example, is trained on the internet content, it will reflect the patterns of thought, both the enlightened, both the ones that are prejudiced from the online discourse. And so this presents both ethical and epistemological challenges. In the ethical consideration, how AI systems might amplify existing social biases or create new forms of discrimination. And then in the epistemological consideration, we must recognize that AI systems do not offer an objective view of reality, but it's a statistical aggregation of human perspective. And then they complete it with their limitations and blind spots, with human limitations and blind spots. So we code our bias, we code our prejudices into the AI systems as well. That recognition should be there. So I'm just trying to check the chat if there is any question. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I guess we can take all the questions later. So because human is always in the loop, human created these challenges and biases. Humans must solve this problem. So the responsibility of addressing the challenges still falls on us. No amount of technical sophistication can automate away the need for ethical judgment, contextual understanding, and moral responsibility, no matter how sophisticated we build the AI system, because they're built and trained with human in the loop. Human will still have to address this challenge. Okay, yeah. We look at the unique value of human intelligence. Some part of human intelligence remain irreplaceable in the AI system. I have 4 of them. There are more, but I choose to speak on these 4. There is the contextual understanding, there is the moral agency, the creative vision, and metacognition. So speaking on contextual understanding, as humans, we have lived experiences. So the contextual understanding in artificial intelligence system that it will kind of inherit from the human intelligence system of contextual understanding. The AI system will inherit a rich understanding of our lived experiences, what we've been through in life, what we have learned, our technical capabilities, our way of speaking, our way of directing, our way of correcting. They're irreplaceable. The machine will have to mimic that. Then we generally, as humans, we grasp implied meaning, we grasp context, we understand context, we understand when people are angry, we understand emotions. Those are irreplaceable. They're inherently human. And then we have that judgments, human judgments about when rules apply, when they don't. Those are purely human and they're practically irreplaceable in an AI system. And we can make distinguishing patterns from mere correlation. We have the knowledge of evil, the knowledge of good and evil. We have the knowledge of completeness, non-completeness. We have the knowledge of what is right and what is wrong. So those understanding of context, they're purely from human intelligence, and they will need to be specifically encoded into a machine based on human prompting. The second one is moral agency. As humans, we're known for taking responsibility for actions. We are generally encoded to navigate ethical dilemmas. Should I do this? Is it right? Is it not right? We have the conscience. Machines have no conscience, but these are human. We have the conscience. And so we must have to program empathy into the AI systems. And that's how we can now say, okay, I want to write a letter of condolence to a particular organization. Can you please use certain languages? And then we can actually put in certain words of sympathy into the prompt for the AI system to generate the documents. We have experience of lived reality, of moral responsibilities. We know our responsibility to the society, to different aspects, to different people, to different communities. These are human things. These are things that are human. They're not in animals, maybe in some animals, but they're majorly human. We can make valid judgments. We can take responsibility for our actions. These are things that need to be explicitly coded into machines. They cannot come with any machines. These are things that are just human beings, the way nature has made it, the way the Almighty has created us as humans. And then the creative vision. As humans, we're naturally creative. We can imagine things that don't exist and then create them. We can build them. And that is how artificial intelligence system came into being. That is why expert systems came into being. We can ask questions. We're not robots. We can ask questions. Why do I have to do this way? Why not the other way? Then, by nature, we're innovative. We're driven by purpose. I want to be different. I want to stand out. I want to achieve this by the time I'm 25. No machine can think that I want to be faster by 100 kilometers per hour. It is a human that will program that speed. It is human engineers that manufacture new processors every day. In computer, Apple keeps on coming up with new phones every day. It is the innovative work of engineers working at Apple. It is not the Apple phones that metamorphose into iPhone 16 or iPhone whatever with new processors and higher memories and bigger screens and finer cameras. It is the innovation of human. And then as humans, we can fundamentally conceptualize problems and possibilities. We can think of what will happen. That is why we do strategic plans. That's why we have 10-year plans. That's why every government comes and will come up with a 7-year plan, 6-year plan, 10-point agenda, 6-point agenda, 15-point agenda. Well, it's a different thing whether they're implemented or not. But that is the nature of human, to think ahead, to think of every possibility and every impossibility. And then those can now be encoded into the AI systems. But the ones that think of what if, what not? What if it doesn't happen this way? What if it happens the other way? We can always anticipate scenarios that machines cannot anticipate. And then we can now code this capability into the machine, but these are purely human. So whose intelligence is this? Is it that of the machine or that of the human that provided the conceptualization, that anticipated the possibility and impossibilities and coded this into the machine? In the number 4, metacognition, we can think about our own thinking. We can reflect, we can recognize, we can adapt, we can ask questions, we can explore additional perspectives. We can go, it's like a limitless possibility, the human brain. We keep on thinking and keep on evolving and evolving new things. And then we keep on shocking the world. We keep on making a lot of impressions. And everyone is afraid of machines. Everyone is in the awe of artificial intelligence system. But these are from the values of human intelligence. Humans are predicting and coding. They're preparing, I beg your pardon, and coding this into machines. So whose intelligence? Is it that of the unique human or that of the machine? Now, having looked at all of these infinite possibilities in AI and looking at human in the loop, what will be our responsibility as researchers? What will be our responsibility as clergymen? What will be our responsibility as humans in the loop of AI? Because we have been able to establish now that AI systems are dependent on human intelligence, that human intelligence will be encoded into the machine. Then it's important to look at the responsibility of the human as well. We have technical responsibility to ensure quality and safety of AI systems. We have the technical responsibility to ensure that the systems are robust against manipulation, that they can be deployed for good, for which they have been. If their AI systems are for war or to launch rockets and all of that, let it be launch rocket to a particular place, not to launch rocket to where innocent people are. So we have to be ensured that it is robust, such that if they are hijacked, they cannot be manipulated for what it was not intended, and to put in appropriate safeguards. We also have another responsibility, the epistemic, to evaluate the quality and accuracy of the outputs. As researchers, when we use generative AI to generate content, we must evaluate the quality and accuracy. And that is why domain expertise is very, very important. So if you're not a domain expert, don't go and use AI to generate content that you cannot verify the accuracy and the quality. And then we also have the responsibility of thinking critically about AI-generated content. We don't just take and give out. Now there are lots of systems that generate content and they are not detected as AI-generated content. Still human trying to circumvent the natural process of ensuring quality and authenticity and originality. So we keep on solving one problem and creating another problem while trying to solve one problem. And we have the moral responsibility to think about the consequences of AI deployment, and then to think about the intended and unintended effects, because it is purely human for us to think of consequences. Hey, this thing I'm doing, the way normally as a human being, if you're doing something, you think about the consequences. What will be the consequence of this thing? What will be the effects? So the same way we think about it, we own that moral responsibility to encode that into the AI system. Across all contexts, as researchers, we must take responsibility for the integrity and validity of our findings using artificial intelligence systems. As educators, we must evaluate genuine students' learning. There are so many. We had a case in my university some weeks back. During the CBT exam, a student was caught using black box AI to cheat. I'm a professor. I've never heard of black box AI. And I had that dilemma. Oh my God, I wish this child had channeled this knowledge. Was using black box AI to answer physics question. And you know how tough physics is. And so I wish this tried to channel this knowledge into something good instead of using it to cheat in examination. So we own that responsibility as educators. In governance, we have the responsibility to ensure that AI systems serve the public good. War can be part of public good, but we must ensure that it is targeting terrorist camp and not IDP camps where innocent people are. And in theology and ethics, we should promote grounded discussions in enduring values. When it comes to artificial intelligence or augmented intelligence, values, which is what theology and ethical system promotes, that AI systems are ethically deployed, ethically developed, and ethically deployed, and ethically used. Oops. The energy people have done their things. Oh, they're back. So in conclusion, artificial intelligence or intelligence of the artificial, well, the true power lies in recognizing that artificial intelligence remains fundamentally and not its replacement. So we need 5 doctors. We can only hire 2. Can we build a diagnostic system that will take the extra load of the 3 doctors so that the human doctors are still there, but now we have machine doctors that can augment or complement the work of the 2 human doctors. Thank you very much. Thank you all so much. We can go back. So I'll be happy to take some questions if there are any. Wow, it's past 7. I'm still in the office, but I'll need
thank
to
you,
leave.
Prof.
So please.
Damilola, are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Prof, for that insightful session. I learned quite a lot, and I'm sure that everyone on the call has also learned that a lot, has also learned a lot in today's session. So quickly to the questions before we recognize the we have Bemiga. He says this lecture has been very insightful and reorienting. Thank you, Prof. Then we have this question: how do deep learning and black box work? I think I'll just take, Ma, should I take all the questions or I take them one after the other?
So that I can take them together.
Okay, all right, Ma. Okay, so another comment says a very wide thought around the subject of artificial intelligence and augmentation of human intelligence. Well done, Prof. And then we have from Victor Husseini to everyone, said, thank you for this insightful lecture, Prof. A question: you have categorically stated that humans are always in the loop in the creation and manipulation of AI. Kindly, what dangers can they pose for cultural and religious value systems, especially considering that our young ones fall back to same on decisions? Also, how can we, from social religious contexts, that do not have an upper hand in its operations be protected? Then another question from Bamidele Fawenu, he says, to what extent are African AI experts working to produce machines that take care of African biases before we start to struggle with the issue of decolonization of AI? And the same person's second question says, don't you think that we need a strong collaboration between AI engineers and academics in humanities towards developing responsible AI machines? And then someone says, thank you so much, Prof. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. And then as an academic administrator, will you encourage the inclusion of prompt engineering into academic curriculum? And secondly, will you encourage students to use generative AI in writing their thesis and dissertation without giving credit to it?
Then we have commendations. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Josephine. Thank you from Dr. Kemi Asemota. I don't know if I pronounced that well. I apologize. So that's it, Ma. Thank you, Ma.
Sorry, since the questions are here, I think I can just take them briefly. On the question of black box and then deep learning is a kind of a subset or an extension of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks. So now the question of black box is understanding how deep learning works. That's more or less the relationship. And what we try to do, I think Dr. Prosameka is here, or I saw him earlier on the call, is sometimes we do teach machine learning without mathematics to kind of deepen the understanding of students, to open kind of the black box around deep learning. And then we have, of course, after in deep learning is the convolutional neural network as well. We've done some work on that. So, but generally, deep learning is a type of machine learning or a subset of machine learning that has to do with artificial neural networks. And then the black box part is understanding how deep learning works. It says you have humans are always in the loop in the creation and manipulation of AI. Kindly, what dangers can they pose for cultural and religious value systems? Of course, there are a lot of dangers. But remember that the AI systems are encoded based on human value. So if somebody who does not have the fear of God, if I may use that word, creates a kind of system that is against our value system, it poses a danger. There was this, if you go to TikTok, you see a lot of AI systems that are against value and religious system. You see you see lots of challenges, silhouette challenges, and so on. And then coming about our cultural values, we're culturally people, we're morally aware people. And so some of these systems actually, they pose a lot of religious, a lot of cultural value systems. And unfortunately, young ones fall back on same decisions. Parents should mind the kind of content their children consume online. And that's why we have parental guidance in many applications. Many applications will not allow anybody below 18 to open an account. So one of the ways by which we can contribute to have an upper hand, apart from the idea of parental guidance, we can't watch everybody all the time. Students even sneak phones to boarding school these days. Is as culturally upright and morally upright people, we need to generate more content, make more content available online. Because these systems are trained on publicly available data online. So we also, as they're flooding the net with negative content, we should ensure that we flood the net with positive content. Churches need to establish, and mosques need to establish online knowledge bases, data sets that can be used by these GenAI algorithms to train their content. Factual. There are a lot of false narrative, false information online. We need to counter this by adding into more content. It's not just about preaching about it, but we also need to address it at the source. So somebody is pouring poison into an ocean. We need to be diluting that poison by putting the antidotes, by putting essential oils, by putting positive content into the system, into the online systems. That, I think, is one way to help. To what extent are African AI experts working to produce machines that take care of African biases before we can start to struggle with the issue of decolonization of AI system? Yeah, a lot is happening, but still not enough. Most of our researchers, they go abroad for PhDs. You see that most of the problems they try to solve the problems that are funded by the organizations or the organization responsible for their scholarship. But I know TED Fund is actually doing a lot to ensure that we have we have African experts or Nigerian experts, let me use that. Now they actually solve problems that are local. So some work have been done, maybe not enough. But there will always be the question of the colonization of AI, because a lot of things are being forced down our throats. ChatGPT is available in English, Arabic, French, German. It's not available in Kiswahili. Yoruba is spoken by how many millions of people worldwide? ChatGPT is. So can we also build generative AIs that are in our language, in Hausa, in Yoruba, even in Pidgin? Pidgin is spoken by millions, hundreds of millions of people across the West African sub-region. Can we also do that? So some work have been done, yes, not enough. We have a project in Northern Africa. We're generating African data only. We're ensuring that data from Uganda, Nigeria, Tanzania, Liberia, 11 African countries that they're residents in Africa, their algorithms will now have to come to Africa. In TAU is the knowledge of for Africa. Any search query that comes to African lands in local first is when we don't have the answers, we start going to places like Igbaja, Ilorin, and other places. So those are some of the things that we can do we need to decolonize AI. It's a no-brainer. We just need to accept that. We need to ensure that the rest of the world also learns and speaks our language. Not language literally, but consume our own data. But we must produce enough for them to be able to consume. We must generate enough for them to be able to use and consume. Don't you think that we need a strong collaboration between AI engineers and academics? Yes, I do. I believe so. I do. If you go to some institutions abroad, you're taking a course in computer science, you take courses in sociology, you take in psychology, in human behavior, and all of that. Because you're going to program a machine to mimic human behavior, you must even understand human behavior. So yes, I believe, and I advocate strongly that we should have strong collaboration between the experts, the AI engineers, and others in humanities. We should start having degrees like a Bachelor of Computer Science and Sociology, or Bachelor of Science in Artificial Intelligence and Psychology and Human Behavior and Social Work and all of that. As an academic administrator, will you encourage the inclusion of prompt engineering into academic curriculum? Yes, it may not be as a full course, but it should be in a number of artificial intelligence offerings. And will you encourage students to use generative AI? What I advocate for academia is to develop ethical guidelines on the use of generative AI. Even many funding organizations these days, Google, MacArthur Foundation, and co., they will ask you, did you use generative AI in writing your grants? You say yes. They already put the caveat that it does not stop them from evaluating your work on its merits. However, it also makes them lazy. I was talking to a protege of mine earlier today. When I was trying to prepare this talk, I do my writing on Word before now encoding into PowerPoint. And then I saw that there is now AI in Office 360 that you just put a prompt, just tell it what you want, and then it will generate it. Autopilot. And I was like, Ezekiel, look, he said, yes, I know. I said, I just activated Office 360 over the weekend. And I realized this thing is making us lazy. We can't do anything. So in order to help our students, we can't stop them. Even if you ask them not to use it, they will still use it. In order to help them, we have to now develop guidelines on ethical use of AI. If you check the TAU website, we have the ethical guideline, the AI guideline on ethical use of AI in academic work and research. Lecturers use it to generate questions. Professors use it to examine even thesis up to PhD level. So you cannot stop it unless we want to really deceive ourselves. But we can have clear guidelines and then guide them on how to ethically use AI in their work. Slide we've made available, right? The prompt engineering gave me more clarity. Thanks, Prof. I suggest academic assessment that combining AI spider money. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I hope I've been able to answer all the questions. Thank you. Damilola, I will yield back to you now.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Yes, I believe that those responses were detailed enough. People can begin to search deeper or dig deeper into it individually, research further for clarity on some other things that they might not have um maybe clarity on for now. But I believe that you've done justice to it, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you, ma. All right, we want to use this opportunity to acknowledge um want to recognize the presence of some dignitaries that we have in our midst. We might not be able to mention the names of everyone, but please do bear with us in case your name is not mentioned. We have on the call here with us this evening Professor Stephen Baba, a professor of biblical studies and the education director of Evangelical Church Winning or EQUA. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us tonight. We also have Vice-Chancellor, University of Ilorin, Professor Wahab Oladipo-Vice-Chancellor San. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us tonight. We also have several academic leaders from universities in Nigeria, in Kenya, in South Africa, and in the US. We're really grateful for joining us tonight. We're very, very grateful. Thank you so much, Saz and Maz, everyone on the call tonight. But before I take the announcement, I'll call on Dr. Godwin Adeboye to appreciate our guest lecturer for tonight, our guest speaker for tonight, and everyone on the call before I give us the few announcements that I have with me. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Damilola. Thank you. We, on behalf of all of us at Theo-Sight Research Institute and all of us on the call this evening or this afternoon or this night or this morning, in spite, depending on where we have joined individually, I extend our vote of thanks and appreciation to an academic leader, a visionary, a successful data analyst, Professor Francisca, the Vice-Chancellor of Thomas Adewumi University. Your presentation has brought a fresh ideas, innovative thoughts, and a critical perspective on an ongoing conversation on the use of artificial intelligence and the relevance of humanity, especially on the continent of Africa. You have brought new perspective that now whet our appetite to think of conceptualizing new ideas and relevant perspective in our research space. You are generally, Professor Francisca, your life and academic career represent a new shift in Nigeria academic space. You are a leader and you are also developing and leading new generation of scholars and academic succeeding in an unusual space. We thank God and we thank the Almighty for your gift and for the gift of you for humanity. And you, your life and your productivity is a motivation and encouragement to those who are coming after you. Thank you so much for your time, for the preparation, for the passion you bring to the space, and for the leadership that you provide for those coming after you. We look unto you and we also realize that we are following your step and we are happy you breaking new ground and providing encouragement and motivation to the younger generation. On behalf of all of us, thank you so much. May the Almighty grant you more insights and more success in your newly appointed position on the continent of Africa. Thank you so much. I am Godwin Adeboye. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir, Dr. Godwin. Quickly, we'll just take a few announcements before we leave. We would like to inform you from your site that there is a professional course that will be coming up on storytelling and narrative economy for corporate branding and healing. It will be a 2-day event coming up in June, and it will be starring a lot of people who are professionals from various fields, which would help in tutoring people concerning storytelling for narrative economy, corporate branding, and trauma healing. So we are inviting everyone to be a part of this. It's going to be a 2-day event, and it's going to be virtual, so distance is not a barrier. So please, we're calling on everyone to join us, church leaders. If you deal with people, everyone needs this corporate branding, storytelling in this age and time. This is what we need to advance our course. So, and we can assure you that it will be very, very impactful, and you would learn a lot, and you would also have something to give to others, even as you learn from that platform. It's coming up in June. Details of this will be forwarded to us as we progress much later. But please, we want us to be informed now for people to be able to join us. We also have a partnership with 21 Wilberforce, a team from the UK on documentation and research of insecurity in Nigeria. We all know that this is a season where a lot of insurgency and insecurity issues coming up in Nigeria. People are being killed daily, a lot of killings going on in different aspects of the country. So this team will be coming to train Nigerians and our people, on documentation and, research of insecurity in order for us to generate data that would be used to change the status quo, to bring about real change and influence the lives of people. And this will be coming up very soon later in the year. We also have our monthly scholar spotlight, like what we had today. Thank you so much, Professor Francisca, for today's session. It was truly beautiful. And this is also a monthly affair. So we would like us to continuously join in as we send our links and forward the flyers. Please do well to be a part of all of these programs. We also have a forthcoming research training program for PhD and MA students on methodology and data analysis. So if you have anyone that you think can benefit from this, please do well to inform them and let everyone be a part of this programs that we have itemized for today. We also have podcast sessions that takes place on YouTube. We'll drop our YouTube brochure. Awayemi, please help us drop our YouTube channel on the comments in the chat box for people to be able to follow and subscribe so that they can follow our details. The programs that we put up there, the videos, they are really, really life-changing, and they are contributing to the growth and development of our society. So please do follow us, subscribe, follow us on our social media platforms, and ensure to subscribe on our YouTube platform. Mr. Shill, Awayemi, please do well to help drop the link in the YouTube, in the chat comment section. All right. It's been a beautiful session today, and it is time to. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. If I just want to add just one more statement in my appreciation once again for Professor. We are working specifically to have this series published with the University of Pretoria before the end of the year. It's sort of an interdisciplinary research project on artificial intelligence and humanity. And we will be happy to have your entry, these conversations you have led today, as a chapter in the project. It's going to be published in partnership with the University of Pretoria in South Africa. You have brought a lot of light and novel, perspective on the ongoing conversations on artificial intelligence. And we'll not just want it to end here. We'll take it further, and then we'll get back to you with further conversations and communication to have this. To have this published in an interdisciplinary research project. Once again, thank you, Prof, for your time, and thank you, distinguished professors and academic leaders all over the world for your time. Thank you once again. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Dr. Adeboye. It's time to take the closing prayer as we call Pastor John Olubi to lead us in prayer. Pastor John, over to you.
All right, thank you. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for the privilege to have a session as powerful as this. We are grateful for the vessel you used. Thank you for enabling her to really pick up the lines and enlighten us. We trust you. The speaker has spoken. The hearers need to act on each of the teachings that have been released. We pray that you enable us to really take a stand and make good use of AI without losing our place as humans. We trust you also that we'll take great caution on how to see the place of AI and our place as humans, so that we will not misplace any priority in the name of Jesus. I also pray for the servant you use, the prof. We are grateful for her life, for making her a global vessel. We trust you keep refreshing her and keep using her. Even for the project that has been announced, we trust you, you bring it to reality. And all the announcement concerning upcoming events, we trust you again, you bring them to fruition. Thank you for Theo-Sight. Thank you for Dr. Adeboye. Thank you for the colleagues. Thank you for all who were part of this meeting. Give us sweet rest tonight and watch over us in Nigeria. We pray with thanksgiving in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Thank you. I will get back to you, Prof.
Bye. Thank you
Yeah,
also.
Thank you,
right,
Prof. Good
right.
night. Bye.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Good night.
It's a very good thing.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Thank
Prof.
thank you. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Yeah,
Thank you, Ma.
yeah. Maybe Sheon, can you post the link to the
Good night.
spotlight? Sheon, can you put the WhatsApp link on the platform so that people can join the WhatsApp platform? It's possible. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for tonight's engagement. It's really been insightful.
Yeah, thank you, both. Yeah,
All right, have a
thank
good
you so
night,
much, Bodhi.
everyone.
Are they dropping the link now?
Let me see if I can drop the link. But yeah, let me see. Anger Scholar Spotlight. Yeah, I'll try to see if I can drop the link for people to join. Yeah, link. Members. Invite via link. Copy. Copy link. Then let me see. Yeah, the link is there. You can click on this link. Yeah, it will come up now. Sorry. You can click on this link, then you join the Scholars Spotlight WhatsApp platform for some other information on our scholarship for students, because we also have scholarship program for students in Africa. We announced the specific information about this. So if you join this platform, you have information and some other announcements. We can also at some point get back to you to also invite you for presentations and to also lead conversations like this. Thank you so much, Godwin Sunny. We are namesake. I hope to have a conversation with you as well. Yeah. Where do you join
Thank
from?
you.
Where do you join?
I joined from Ohio. I'm in United States at the moment, but I'm from Kogi State, Federal University of Lokoja.
Yeah, nice. I was United States.
Fine.
Nice. Nice. Are you Professor Godwin or Dr. Godwin?
Dr. Godwin in the making, sir.
Yeah, fantastic. I hope you success in your studies. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're happy to have you join us. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. So, a colleague, you can join the Spotlight platform with the link that I just posted. Yeah, I posted the link again. Yeah.
Yes, I've joined the platform.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.